Isn't that amazing? A pie on a pie? That's my Google, what do you call it? Like avatar or image or something. So we are today taking notes. This is not difficult at all. We're going to do some basics of algebra here for a few days. So today is September 7th, and today we will be doing two things, exactly two things. We're not veering off course here. We're going to be adding and also subtracting polynomials. So I think just a couple of examples in this Blackboard setting will suffice. And then I'm going to hop over into Delta Math and just show you from that perspective what the problems are going to look like. It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes, and then you can have a bunch of work time today. So adding polynomials is probably the easiest thing that we'll talk about. I mean, you almost can't mess it up. There are a couple of common errors that people could fall into, but they just don't happen. So let's do an example of let's do a quadratic trinomial plus a quartic with 4 terms. So I know I said that kind of fast. I need your help. Can someone write me, and whatever you say, I'll write, as long as it's not too weird. I would like a quadratic trinomial. Can someone construct one for me? Quadratic trinomial. Quadratic trinomial. Quadratic 2. So I'll take 3r squared. Now we need what we call a linear term. To complete a quadratic trinomial, you got to have 2 more terms for it to be a tri. So what do you want our linear term to be? Okay, that's the constant term. That's fine. And then let's do minus a constant. What do you want? Let's do 1. If I don't want to put 0, only because then it really theoretically wouldn't be there. So it's okay, but I don't really want to put it. So minus 1 is fine. So there, yay, we have a quadratic trinomial. Now over here, let's work together this time to build a cubic with 4 terms. I'll take your input. 3r to the third. Okay, we've got to keep the same variable. That's going to be our cubic term. We need 3 more. We need the quadratic, the linear, and the constant term. So what do you want our quadratic term to be? Minus 4r to the second. I'll take it. What do you want our linear term to be? Plus 2r. And then how about like minus, I don't know, 51? You guys good with this? It doesn't matter. The point is, what we have now is a math problem. We have a polynomial, and we're going to add it to another polynomial. So I'll keep this short because I know that they say that you get 20 minutes of kids listening, and then so I'm going to keep it under 20. I have a polynomial, and I'm going to add it to another polynomial. Because there's an addition sign in the middle, all I have to do is combine like terms. This will not apply to the other 50% of problems today, but because it's a plus, it's the stupidest, easiest thing in the world. So I just simply now go through my trinomial and my 4 term, and I just look and I collect like terms. I don't want this to be random, though. I want to be organized. So I want to start with my highest degree first. So who's the highest degree term that we see? So 3r to the third says, I don't have anyone in this problem to go with. There are no like terms with me, right? So I will lead off your answer. I am not showing an ounce of work on this problem, but I will in the next one, and you'll see why. Now let's head down to the quadratic terms. And so this time I'm going to look and say, oh, here's one. And as he looks around and says, is there a mate for me? Is there someone? Oh, there it is right there. And so I'm combining those like terms together. What's 3 somethings minus 4 of those somethings? Negative 1 of those somethings. Very good. I elect not to put minus 1. I hate putting ones. I think it's a bad habit, and I don't want to be a part of teaching you that. If it makes you feel better, you can put minus 1 r squared. Now we head down the line. We're working our way down the ladder to the linear term. So there's a 2r, and he scans the landscape and says, hey, there's my like term. There's my buddy. What's 2r plus another 2r? 4r. Indeed. And then finally, it's time to combine what we call the constant terms, and that's negative 1 combining with the negative 51. What do you get? And that's it. And that's what we would type in as our final answer. Okay. Now, if you've lulled yourself to sleep and said, that's it, I'm done listening, I got this, shut up, watch out. Because now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do subtraction. So this time, I'm just going to go ahead and write this to save us time. Let's do like 5x cubed minus 2x minus 11 minus 6x cubed minus 10x squared plus 4x minus 15. So what we have here is a cubic trie minus a cubic 4 term. And I hope you trust me. I always say that, but I really in my heart hope you know that when I give you advice and I tell you things that I'm looking out for you. So here it comes. If you hear me say one thing today, if you hear me say one thing well, hear this. That minus sign in the middle is a grade killer. It's a big deal. Because unlike a plus, if you put a plus in front of a set of parentheses, it's like, what's the point? Right? Distributing +1, a waste of my time. I got to give this problem some respect. And I would encourage you to do what I'm about to do, and that is show this next step. Don't show it with addition. Addition, do what we did last time. Minus, here it goes. I'm going to take the parentheses off the first polynomial because you see how there's no number in front of the parentheses here? So there's nothing that has to distribute. So I can just say 5x to the third minus 2x minus 11. You guys come on out. You're free. This is the grade killer. You either trust me on this or you don't. Here it comes. That minus has his fingers in this and says, I'm going to affect every now ounce of what's coming after me. Everything. It's distribution. So when this minus comes climbing in and hits this guy, what does he become? He becomes minus 6x to the third. But you don't stop there because he also goes over here. And what does this guy change to? Yes. And I'll stop drawing arrows, but you get the idea. That minus sign says, I'm changing all you suckers. Who's next? Yes. And for 26 plus years now, I've been watching kids look at that and say, oh, that's easy. And then they miss it if they don't show their work. And so I just hope you have enough faith in what I'm saying. Please show your work when it's subtraction. It's going to help you. And I wouldn't ask you if it weren't going to help you. But now I look through and I say, okay, all that minus nonsense has been cleaned up. Let's do what we did last time. So let's begin with this guy. He's my leading highest power term. Does he have anyone to go with? Negative. Thank you for saying negative, Winslow. Yeah, it's a minus, a negative. And so what is 5 things minus 6 things?
-1 thing.
Negative one of those things. Very good. So I just elect to write negative thing. Okay, let's head down the line. Now, I don't want to jump to the green term there because he's not next in the pecking order. I got to head over here and say, you're next. Does he have anyone to go with?
No.
Yeah, so we just copy him in like this. Next up will be the linear terms. And now Mr. minus 2x says, oh, I got a buddy over here. How many x's we get?
-6.
Beautiful. And then finally, it's time for the constants. And that's a minus 11 with a plus 15, which is?
+4.
Good. Okay. I'm not going to stop the recording right now because I just want to head over and show you what this is going to look like. Not that you don't know how to use Delta Math. There's something that's going to come up and I want you to see it. Yeah, sorry. I should have put like a box around that. That's it. Because there's no more like terms to combine. What's up, Sammy? Sure. What's up? I did. 3 minus 4. You're fine. You're good? All right. So just, I don't necessarily think I need to do all these problems with you. I'm going to click through here until I get what I'm looking for, but let's just talk right now. When you get a problem like this today, you got to know your math word. What does it mean when it says sum? Right. So this is the kind where I'm not going to expect to show any work, right? Like, look at how many x squareds are we going to get when we put them together? Right, so I'm going to type in -14x. And in case you guys didn't know this, you hit Shift 6 on your keyboard, and that takes you up to an exponent, and you can do your negative 14. And then just hit the right arrow, and it drops it back down to level. And then what's my x term going to be? 10, because I got 1 on the left polynomial and then 9 on the right, correct? And if you got 1x with 9 x's, you got 10 x's. And then you just hit +9. And then you submit it and you get the green check mark of awesomeness. Now this is what I wanted to talk to you about. Is when we phrase things in English, like if I said to you, okay, we're going to do a math problem, and I know you're not fourth graders, but if you were, and I said, okay, class, let's subtract 4 from 10. How would we write that as a math problem? We would say, I'm going to subtract, oh my God, holy incorrect pen, Batman. I'm going to subtract 4 from 10. So notice how the words translate over onto papers. You actually do it kind of maybe backwards. And so as I set this up, I want to set this up on separate paper as this polynomial. It'd just be 6, right? Anyways, the point is, like, how do we set it up? We set it up kind of backwards. And so in this problem that's on the board, if I'm going to subtract the first one from the second one, then I need to set it up as this one minus the first one. Yes. What is 10 minus 4? What is 4 minus 10? Listen, 100% of the time in mathematics, take this to the bank. If you subtract two numbers, but you flip them, you're always going to get the wrong opposite answer, right? Unless they're like the same, that doesn't really count. But 3 minus 5, 5 minus 3, flip it. So yes, it matters big time. So if the problem asks me to subtract this from this, I set it up like this, and then I take my teacher's advice, hopefully, and I show my work. So I'm going to take the parentheses off the first one. And now I got to do the changey stuff with the second. What is, good job, plus 8x squared. And now that all parentheses are clear, you are free to press on. How many x squareds are we going to get in our answer? I know what you mean by 1, but like, what's going to be the number with it? I see 3. I see negative 5 of them on the left, and I see plus 8 more of them. And that's a total of 3x squared. And what will be my x term? And it's got no one to go with, so just plus 5x plus 9. And that's all you're doing. So if I click through these, I don't see. So here's some that are just written out normal. Here's some more that are just written out normal, some more. But when the words come in, it might say sum. What is it going to mean if it says difference? Right, so sum is add, difference is subtract. Then on those ones that say subtract this from this, you got to flip it and rewrite the subtraction. Do you have any questions? All right. Stop screen share.